Garrett Smithley involved in a wreck between leaders Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe in the Xfinity Series race. Oh, Brett, you are waiting to talk. Spot on, spot off.
I didn't even know if this would make the show. It was such a non-topic yesterday in the garage, in the Cup garage. I walked into the Cup garage, and all anybody wanted to talk about was Garrett Smithley and Freddie Kraft. What I don't understand, though, I was talking to Kevin Hamlin, after the scenario that happened with Freddie and Garrett. Like, why didn't Freddie get his own mixtape and on YouTube thing like Kevin got with Miss Natalie Decker? Obviously, man, spot off. Garrett Smithley was in the way. He was very unaware of what was going on. Freddie had told him getting into 3 the leaders were coming. He had told him to hold the bottom. Either Garrett didn't hear him or Garrett wasn't paying attention, and Garrett obviously washed up in front of the leaders. Obviously, Garrett got on TV and said Freddie normally does a good job, but he didn't do a good job today. Freddie then obviously got upset because he knew he had told him some information. The crew chief confirmed to the driver that the information that Freddie said was delivered, and so Freddie has now resigned from spotting for Garrett Smithley. That's what happened. Spot off on that whole scenario. Unfortunately for Garrett, this is the second big time. And look, I like Garrett Smithley. He honestly is a really sweet, cool guy.
He's awesome.
And I like his girlfriend, Keely. She shares the same name as my middle daughter, Keely. But Garrett, you gotta be. If I'm driving down the interstate, every so often I'm checking all my mirrors just in case I have to make a lane change.
In case you're next to Garrett.
Just in case. But it's his responsibility to be aware. It's the spotter's responsibility to help that scenario. And it's unfortunate that it ended this way.
What do you think, TJ?
I'm spot off. This can't happen. Not at that. I mean, when you get the Xfinity Series or the Cup level, that's even the Truck Series, man. When you get to the national levels, this can't happen. This shouldn't even happen in ARCA. There's so many guys, that are different pace in ARCA. This shouldn't even happen there. But definitely not the Xfinity Series. And I haven't heard. All I heard was Garrett's interview. I haven't heard a recording or whatever. I don't know what Freddie said. I would like to think that Freddie gave him enough info, but sometimes, these guys forget. You got to remember these guys are driving the cars, and you might, I guess maybe in Garrett's situation, I don't know, when you're riding lap. He said they were on 70-lap tires just riding around.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing for me, and obviously you and I are fortunate that we spot for fast cars, but we both, TJ and I, have been in wreck race cars where you're way off the pace, and the driver knows he's off the pace. The spotter knows he's off the pace. And I hate to tell Garrett this, but it may surprise him, but everything that's in your mirror, it's catching you. You're not outrunning anything out there.
Yeah, and I can see, when you get so spread out like that, you might go a handful of laps without having anybody, without having anything. So you're just kind of comfortable riding. You zone out a little bit, and I can tell you this: there's been plenty of times when I've told the driver, "Hey, make sure you do this," and then the lap later, the guy's like, "Hey, we're pitting this lap," and then that lap later, "Hey, we're pitting." Yeah, I just told you we're pitting.
Yeah.
So those drivers tend to forget. So that's why I always try to tell my driver numerous times, even when I tell them if we're pitting off turn 2 under yellow, you got to tell them again in 3, tell them again in 4. You can never give them too much info like that. And I don't know if to me this thing Freddie probably just told him, look, leaders are coming, run on the top, stay in the bottom here or whatever, and then they went into 3, and then I don't know if Garrett started thinking about something or something happened. He looked at something else and just kind of forgot what Freddie said, and he didn't say it. You know what I mean?
I didn't hear his interview, but Joel Edmonds rides with me to the racetrack. He spots for Eric Amarola on Sunday morning. And he's like, man, Garrett came out of the care center and said, yeah, he's hated for those guys. He wasn't even sure who it was.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
he didn't even know who he wrecked?
Yeah, he said he didn't even know who it was. So, yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's lessons that can be learned from all sides on this. First of all, Garrett needs to know when you're off the pace and guys running the top, just leave room, just leave a lane. Like I said, I haven't heard Freddie's audio or whatever, but when you're working with cars, don't ever get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable because you don't know what that guy. You don't know if he's going to forget or something, and that can happen. Then you're in that situation. So
there's been drivers that I've spotted for that don't want a lot of audio chatter, radio chatter, and they don't want you to talk to them in the corner. They have their nuances, right? With Clint, I don't have to worry about that. With Elliott, I never had to worry about that. But there are times when you feel like you're probably talking too much and you're being super freaking redundant. And it's annoying for us to have to do that. I don't know how Garrett is to spot for. But some guys will tell you to shut up. Literally. They'll say shut up.
Yeah, and,
when you're talking too much.
Yeah.
I think when you have a younger driver, you don't give them the chance. Hey, this is how it's going to be. I'm kind of trying to teach you here a little bit, or this is what we're trying to do. Your car owner can't afford to tear up cars or something like that, so I'm going to be extra cautious with you out there, to be sure. So
I thought Kyle Larson had the best comment on Twitter. It was after it all had been said and done, and Kyle Larson was like, I'm sitting here watching Kyle Busch's Twitter, and he had some dude eat popcorn, because obviously Kyle and Garrett had a major run in, and that was when Kyle said, guys, I never even won a late model race. So tough break. Bad situation.
That is a bad situation.
Another Xfinity Series topic, Tyler Reddick and Cole Custer fight following Saturday's Xfinity Series race. Spot on, spot off, TJ.
I mean, it really wasn't a fight. I'm spot on because this is what we need. This is exciting. I was glued to it watching it. I was just going to see what happened next. Spot on for two young guys that are possibly going cup racing next year. Who knows? But a little rivalry is never bad. So these guys might say everything's okay by next week, but it's going to be in the back of their heads. And if they get to racing again, who knows? I'm not saying they're going to go out there and destroy each other, but this is good. I mean, Tyler is an aggressive young driver. Cole's obviously fast and aggressive now too. So I like seeing two fast guys kind of run. And I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that Tyler did wrong.
Tyler got on his left rear and kept pushing him up and up and up to the point that Cole ran out of room. And I only watched it live, but that's what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a way to pass. That's what you do to somebody. It's late in the race. You're going for the win. You're not going to give that guy an extra foot. You're not. If Tyler drove him all the way to the wall and then hit him, then I would say there's an issue. But Tyler obviously didn't hit him, and Cole hit the wall, and Tyler didn't hit him. So Tyler obviously left him enough room. Cole could have lifted a little earlier than that. But they're trying to win. No guys at that. How many laps are left? It was
Towards the end. It was less than 10
so they're
laps.
That's what happens at the end of the race. If that's lap 20 of the race, they probably don't even get close to that scenario. So
I'm 1,000% spot on for this. I think it's awesome, man. If I'm Tyler Reddick, I remember Cole Custer tackling John Hunter Nemechek
I was thinking.
at that road course. So when he's coming over toward Mr. Reddick, I'm sure Mr. Reddick was like, "Hey, what's Goldberg getting ready to do to me?" And when he put his hand on him, they locked up, man. I didn't see any punches thrown. I saw those guys falling to the ground. I saw some 6'8" jackmen in there who, man, that's too big. Y'all need to get away. We need like 5'10" guys breaking this thing up. But man, I think it's awesome. I think it speaks to the intensity of the playoffs and the intensity to which these guys are racing.
Yeah,
these are two good race car drivers.
This is the product of the playoffs. I mean, without a doubt. If it was, I think Chase Briscoe said it. If this was a normal race, I don't think it would be. I mean,
it wasn't a normal race. You know how you know it wasn't a normal race? The guy who wrecks every week won. Brandon Jones won the race.
Yeah.
That guy's he spent a lot of money to get that win.
134 races.
Been in a lot of organizations. So multiply 134 times $150,000. That's how much that trophy cost.
How many seasons is 134 in Xfinity?
Sorry.
Like 5?
Jason.
Like 5?
Yeah. I mean, 5 times 3 is 150. So, yeah, that's 5 years. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for him. I think he's a super nice guy, and I was totally fine with him winning.
Attrition. That was the thing that bit me. At the end of the race, I was texting Chris Rice about this earlier this morning. We had the 4th or 5th best car there, and had we been more patient, we probably could have backed ourselves into a position to be able to contend for the win. But Ross was loose off 4, caught it a few times, finally lost it. He reminds me so much, and I spotted for Greg Biffle in Xfinity for a lot of races back in the day when he ran that Kleenex car, when he took over for Randy LaJoy. And we won a lot of races, and Greg was balls to the wall every single corner. And spotting for Ross was the same thing. Like, we were on restarts. We were animals. And we'd go up there and get in the top 4 kind of ride there, right? But Ross wrecked the car, and I'm thinking, man, if we don't wreck that car, we got a chance to win this race, because all the top guys, Reddick, Custer, Briscoe, Bell, they took each other out. That's why sometimes you got to let the race come to you.
This is probably going to play into Ross's. This is something Ross is probably going to have to work on next year if he's going to be a championship contender. He's going to have to be okay with a fourth-place car and see what happens. He'll win a lot of races if he learns how to do that.
Right. Let it come to him.
You don't have the winning car every week, but you can still win with a fourth-place car a lot.
No. Shout out to Chris Lambert, who spotted the winning car on
Both
Saturday
days.
and the winning car on Sunday. Really hard for a spotter to have an opportunity unless you spotted for Kyle Busch when Kyle was running all those races. Really hard for a spotter to have that opportunity to sweep the weekend. So congrats, Chris Lambert. Big fan of his, man. I said in my athletic article, he's not a guy that I'd want to have to be, man. He left home one morning, left his baby boy and his wife at home, and they were killed that day in a head-on collision. He lost them both, and last week was the anniversary of that loss. And man, just personally, a guy I really look up to in terms of how he handles himself, and a big weekend for him to kind of professionally shine on a week that personally he was having some tough times.
Yeah, for sure. Spotting is hard, but moving is even harder.
But we can make it easy. Use OfferPad or OfferPad.com to sell your home, and TJ is going to load up the truck and help you move your stuff.
No, OfferPad will help you move, and that's no joke.
OfferPad.com. Move freely.